Question 4. Who will be the next coach to be fired?
I feel like I've been saying this over and over again, so I feel like this question is going to be really short. I am so surprised that after 5 coaches have been fired, not one of them have been Brian Harsin from Auburn. I am completely shocked that he still has a job. Now, a lot of reports are coming out stating that he's going to get fired during the bye week. That means he has to go in and face Georgia, who has not looked too great the last 2 weeks. So you'd have to expect that they're probably on a crazy rebound game, ready to really prove the rest of the nation why they need that number 1 spot back. And then against Ole Miss the next week before their bye, who we just saw take care of Kentucky. Now, the game could have easily changed Kentucky if they wouldn't have turned the ball over, but Ole Miss beat Kentucky and is just outside the top 5 in the AP standings. I'm just really confused on when Brian Harsin's going to go. We heard that there was a possibility that in the game against Missouri, was it, when he won in overtime, that there was a possibility that if he lost, he'd be fired right then and there. But he won, so they stuck around. If the thought is that Harsin was going to get fired during the loss, that means that they knew that they have seen all they've seen with Brian Harsin. They're done. So if you are already ready to move on, if he just loses one more game, which by the way he did against LSU in awful fashion, was leading and then LSU came back and still has a job. But if you've seen all you've seen with Brian Harsin, just bite the bullet, move on. With what we've seen so far, with Power 5 teams making firing, you have to make the assumption that the transfer portal comes into play a lot more. NLI deals are coming into NIL deals are coming into play a lot more, to where you make a move as soon as possible. So not only your boosters can get that notification, that nod saying, okay, we're taking that step in the next direction. You know how Auburn boosters are, especially in this Harsin situation, who arguably Brian Harsin was set up to fail from the beginning. That's a whole nother story, though. But you make that move right away. So you can make the next step. As an SEC coach or SEC team, you want to get the top-notch coach before any of these other Power 5 schools get the opportunity to do so. You get your first pickings because you need to find a way to get back to the supremacy of the SEC, which we have seen at one point as Auburn. And these Auburn fans don't like when they're not a 10-win football team. Not especially when their rival Alabama is in the college football playoffs every single year. I'm surprised it's not Brian Harsin. If I had to put another one in there too, I think Louisville's coach Satterfield might be out the door soon, especially after that loss against Boston College. But that one's a little far-fetched for me right now. I think there might be a little bit on the horizon there. But to me, Brian Harsin, I guess this wasn't as quick of an answer that I thought, but that Brian Harsin for sure.